Welcome, everybody, to the Digital Nomad Experts podcast brought to you by Commute. Jeff and Marissa here today. We're going to talk about the 5 things that we miss when we come back from traveling and the 5 things that we certainly don't miss about coming home. So before we get into that, Marissa, how are you and where are you?
I'm good. I am back in the States. I'm home for a little bit, so it's been a surprise how long I've been here, but I'm actually enjoying visiting family, and
It's been that long.
it feels like it. It feels like
For us.
For us. I guess it's been like a month and a half. Not even 2 months.
Yeah, in reality, it's been 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? You act like you've been stuck in prison for the last... Yeah, it's not been that long.
But I think the surprise is that I'm actually really enjoying being home for a little bit. It feels really nice. It's feeling good. I've been seeing so many friends from home. I was with everyone last night, seeing family. My mom's birthday was today. You know, it's like it's been nice to have some family and friend time. How about you? Where are you? And yeah.
It's a good timely episode to have, actually, on this topic.
Yes.
Because we're both... I'm home, too.
Yeah.
I've been home for, I think, about 2.5 weeks now from Antigua.
Also such a short time.
Again, I'm counting it in half weeks.
like we're like 3 years old. I'm 3.5 months old.
Totally.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's good, though. I've got some family stuff going on. We've got this yearly vacation we go on. We go out in these mountains. They're like housekeeping cabins out in the middle of nowhere, up in the forest. You would hate it. It's just everything.
I don't know.
Surrounded by forest.
I don't love the forest, but I do like being in nature, and I do like camping. So sometimes if it's like the right rustic vibe, like I can get down with that.
In between that, they're housekeeping cabins. So
what does that mean?
They're old. There's no.
Heard that phrase.
It means you don't get any like service there.
Okay.
Like you don't get any. Nobody cleans the cabin for you.
Okay.
There's no microwaves or anything like that. So it's like it is super rustic,
right?
But it's not camping.
I could get down with that for a little bit. I like that for some time. And I feel like recently I'm really into all the just benefits of like being in nature, back to all of the grounding and like away from electronics and all the things.
You might like that.
Yeah, I do like it. I would rather be on a beach, but I'll take the forest for a little bit. Especially if it's like with friends and family and you got a good crew. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing this for like 35 years, so I always come home at this time.
That's awesome. I remember the past 2 years you've done it.
Yeah, I just drop off the
no phone service. Yeah, I feel like the first time we were...
As far as what I tell you guys.
Lies.
I've got like...
little bars come through.
4 monitors. Four monitors.
Sorry,
set up
guys. I have zero access to anything. But you did. I remember the first time you went. You like drove into. We were working on something, and you like drove into town to get service and work. So no, it's good to check out for a little bit. But also, you can, little escape sometimes. You can use Diego style and just be like, "Sorry, guys, no phone service." Or he's like actually getting all our texts.
I love that.
Love it.
That's great.
Well, let's jump in. So you said, I want to make sure we did this correctly. So Jeff and I don't know what each other are going to say for the 5 things we do and don't miss, but I want to make sure I understand. So it's the things that we, like while we're traveling, the things that we do miss from home, and when we're home, the things that we don't miss, like about being here. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm glad that we're doing this now live.
I was like, but you said it a little bit differently. I was like, I want to make sure I did this right. So Jeff and I each wrote 5 of our own personal things. All right, so Jeff and I don't know what the other one has said. We've each got 5. So 5 we do miss, 5 we don't miss. And I think it's going to be really fun and hopefully give you a really good idea of like what it's really like to travel. I know you look at the blogs or Instagram posts of cool pictures and places, but to get the reality of like, here's kind of some pros and cons of all of it. So we're excited. I'm actually super excited for this episode.
I'm happy with my list. I'm not proud of the order I put it in, though.
So should we make a caveat that these are not in order?
Or is it?
Because I feel the same. This is the order that came out in my mind.
If we put it down in that order, it's the first thing that we thought about, right?
I'm going to apologize to my family.
Maybe we just have to... That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh no, I have to apologize to my family.
Same.
They're way too deep on that list.
Same. We'll get to it. All right, Jeff, let's start with one thing that we miss from home while we're traveling. And you start. So when you're away, when you're in a different country, what is the first thing that came to your mind that you miss while you're gone?
And like we said, the first thing that comes to your mind is usually the most honest thing, right? It's the gut reaction.
Yep.
It's your primal. Unfortunately,
Can I guess
for me,
what it would be? Is it gonna be?
get it right.
Is it
Yeah.
Charlie? It's got to be your dog.
No.
No. Well, what? What was it?
No.
What's your number one?
On the list, but it's good beer.
But I feel like you love beer while you're traveling. You get lots of good beer while you travel. I guess depending on what country you're in.
It depends on the country, but I would say 9 out of the 10. I'm spoiled here. It's just too good in California. Like it's some of the best in the world. Really, really is. And it's hard to find good stuff when I'm traveling. And like it's kind of a curse because anywhere I go, I'm just like not satisfied with anything that I find. This might be the snobbiest segment that comes out of my mouth on this entire show.
I'm gonna tell Charlie.
But she's on there. Like I don't want to give it.
We know
that's not a giveaway. Everybody would know that I'm gonna put her on the list. But yeah, it's the snobbiest thing that's gonna come out of my mouth. I'm gonna stand by it because it is one.
We're honest here on this podcast.
Hey, even if you're a foodie and you go into somewhere that's not known for the food, you're gonna have the same kind of response.
Sure.
So yeah, it just didn't. I don't know. It's just something that I miss because it's something that I really, really do enjoy, and it's really hard to find, especially. And maybe I should make a couple notes for the audience. Like, if you are a beer drinker, like going to Latin America, you're probably not gonna find a whole lot of awesome stuff. You go to Western Europe, you will probably find some pretty decent stuff. But for the most part, I find it a little bit lacking.
That's pretty funny. I would not have guessed that.
Unfortunately,
to be your
that's number one.
And especially because I feel like we talk often about like. Mostly it's when you're in Europe, some of the good beers and places that you find along the way. So I was thinking that was like a good thing that you like traveling because you found the beers. But that's funny that's like one of the biggest things that you miss. Who knew?
All right, what's yours?
All right. I actually don't think you would guess this one. This is like probably my number one. So for me, I love like big, bulky, like sweatpants and sweatshirts. And I just face. I was like, you're never going to guess this one. I don't think we've ever had this conversation. No. But I hate, Who are you? I love.
Stranger danger.
I love good, like, fuzzy, fluffy, or, like, comfy sweatpants, or, like, a big hoodie, like, just, they're bulky. So I always travel with a carry-on and a backpack, and not your giant 70-liter backpack or whatever we talked about last episode.
70-liter travel backpack.
Mine's just like a school backpack and a carry-on. And so you got to be mindful about, like, you can't bring bulky things. So I have, I always bring, like, I'll wear a little kind of hoodie and some thinner sweatpants, but, like, those have to pack up when I'm in Asia and, hot places. And, like, I feel like the bulky things that I want would take up literally a half of my suitcase, like, just those. And it doesn't fit. Yeah, so...
No, it's totally true. I allow myself, I think, like one bulky, like one jacket.
Yeah, I think I stole a sweatshirt of yours once when maybe we were in Bolivia. It was like so...
Give it back.
No, I did give it back, but while we were there, because I didn't have one. I'm like, wait a minute. While we were there, I don't remember. You had a really good sweatshirt, and I was like, I am wearing this. It was comfy. Or maybe it was in...
Nothing like it.
Romania? I don't know why I would have had it there, but there was a time where I feel like... I don't know. You had a really comfy sweatshirt, and I was like, maybe you left it at our house in Romania, and that's what it was. Maybe we were podcasting. You left it there, and I was like, I may or may not return this, Jeff. I did. I did not want to. I think that's what it was.
They're a hot commodity, and it's tough. It's like it takes up a quarter of your luggage.
Yeah.
There is some learning stuff in this podcast.
I know. This is something you would probably never think about before. I mean, maybe like when you get to the moment and you're about to pack, you might come to realize this, but I really think I remember, this is a slight tangent, we'll move on to the next thing, but when I was choosing colleges, like I remember I was out looking so I'm from the South, and when you go to colleges in the South, people like dress up and like wear dresses and like nice clothing to class. And I was like, what is this? And then I went to Michigan, and everyone there just wears like Michigan hoodies and Michigan sweatpants. Yeah. And I was like, I want to go here. Like, I feel like it was not the only reason I chose that school, but it was a large reason. So I was like, I just want to be comfortable and wear like bulky sweatpants and sweatshirts, and it's comfy. So you don't get that while you're traveling. It's really hard to find the right thing. So this is really important in my life.
See that coming.
And it's like when I'm home, I put on I get so happy from all the big sweatpants and sweatshirts. So there you go. Surprises.
Did not see that coming.
This is funny.
These are good for this because we really can't anticipate.
Couldn't anticipate
a lot
that
of these
one.
things.
I love it.
Yeah, go the opposite side. Let's pick a thing that we. Why don't you?
You want me to start?
Follow that up with something that you definitely don't miss.
I feel like
about when you're traveling.
Okay, these I think you'll be more in line of things I talk about a lot. So the first thing that I really don't miss when I'm traveling, so yeah, the things I guess you would say I dislike about being home. And so for those listening, Jeff and I are both from the U.S., so this might be a little bit U.S.-centric or maybe not, but apologies for our global listeners as well, but some of them will be relatable everywhere. But for me, one thing I don't miss when I'm traveling is the isolation that it feels like at home. And this may surprise people because a lot of people assume like you're a solo traveler. Now, we meet up with other people, but maybe if you're not traveling with a partner or whatnot, or, a family, people assume you're going to be really lonely when you travel. And you certainly can be. Like, I think it takes time to build a community of amazing friends. And Jeff and I have done that through Wi-Fi Tribe. But when I'm home and I live in, my condo or apartment or wherever you are, I think the U.S. is very isolated. Like, you have to schedule time to see your friends and family. Like, last night I was with a bunch of friends, but we do this dinner like every other Sunday. And so it's like, okay, every 2 weeks I'm going to see you all. Whereas when I travel, I'm like every day, like people are just either like we've rented a place like right next door to each other or in the same big house with friends, or like it's just more of a community feel that's built in. And even when I think about places like, I remember living in Nigeria for a month, you would walk outside, I would go for a walk at night and like everybody's just hanging on the street together with like all of their friends or families, or the ways people would kind of like sit out on a porch stoop, but like everybody hangs out with other people in their community. And in the US, it's like we're like, the bigger the house, the more alone, the more set back, the more walls. Yeah, it's like, and there's, I like that to some extent, but it feels really isolated. And it's funny, one of my friends last night I was with, she was like, oh, isn't it nice? Like you get to be basically less isolated. Like you're here with all your friends and stuff. And I was like, it's actually the opposite. Like I do see friends and family. I love it. But it's like at certain times on certain days, and the rest is very isolated. So that's one thing I really don't miss when I travel. That would be my number one.
Yeah, it's that spontaneous hangout. Our friend Mike Dane said it the best. He said, like, I love traveling because when I walk downstairs, there's 15 of my best friends waiting to hang out with me. That's
the best.
Exactly what it is when you're traveling.
Yeah.
And then, the whole thing here, it's like, I don't know if it's more as people are getting older, but it does seem that way here in the States, that everything has to be pre-organized.
Yes.
And it has to be like,
it's like, oh, you want to hang out? I'll see you next Tuesday at 7:00. It's like, but I missed the random drive-by and hang out. And
I know, you gotta squeeze everything into this rigid like 2-hour time frame when you're hanging out, and it makes it more awkward.
Yeah.
It makes it less like natural, free-flowing conversation when you're just, those conversations when you're traveling with people and there's like natural silences. You can't have those when you've got organized hangouts.
Yeah.
So you got to squeeze in, how you doing, and how's life, how's everything going? And it's
natural.
It's not as natural as a hang.
Like I remember even at one time in Playa, there was like 15, we all had like we were living in this condo building, and so everyone kind of some people had roommates. I had my own unit, but that I was renting in Mexico. But there was like 15 of us who had rented units in that building. And so you walk in and there's like people at the pool. Someone's like, hey, we're cooking dinner on the rooftop. Bring whatever. And it's just more of like a natural, just all the time. Like when you want, it's there. And I feel like that's my dream in life. I want to move to Costa Rica with all of my friends, all the people I want to be with, and just like be on a beach, on a I want a compound. This has been my dream since like before I even traveled. I didn't even understand why, and now I do. But I just want a compound with all my people nearby where you have your own space and you can kind of pop out and like see all the people in the common spaces and then go back to your own space if you want. Kind of have best of both worlds. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that one, but that's number one. What don't you miss?
As long as we're on a North American bias here, I'm gonna say the sticker shock for everything.
Yeah.
Usually when we're traveling, most digital nomads, I'd say, part of the criteria of where you choose to go is a lot of times affordability And that's, everything from renting an Airbnb or going on booking.com to just going out and eating and buying groceries and stuff is a major criteria, because you want to be able to stretch your dollar or whatever your local currency is a little bit further than normal when you're at home.
Yeah.
So typically we'll go to places where we can do that. And when you come home, I swear to God, it's like the numbers go up every single time for a hamburger. Like, I leave and a burger's $16. I come home and it's $17. I leave and I come back, it's $18. A hamburger, like, it's the standard unit of price just keeps going up every single time I come home. And every time I get home, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how is it? How could it possibly? Are you messing with me? I swear to God.
And I feel like when you're home, you don't realize. You know, there's that analogy with a frog and boiling. Like, if a frog is like in a pot of water and you turn it on, you don't notice it. But if you just put a frog in boiling water, it's hot and it jumps out. I feel like it's the same with prices. Like, when you're home, it's just cents at a time and it just goes up and you don't notice. But when you go and come back every 4 to 6 months, you're like, I swear this, like, the same Chipotle, burrito bowl was $6, not $8 or whatever. Yeah. You really notice it, and it keeps changing.
100%. Yeah, exactly. So it makes it tough. And there is, like, it's not just our perception of, we do have serious inflation going on up here. It is pretty global. Like, I'm actually feeling it other places that I'm going to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Going to Medellin, where typically you've got very, very good cost of living. It's going up there too, but you feel it acutely up in North America. So that one always stings. It just doesn't feel like you're getting a whole lot of value, and you can't eat out as much. And that's a big pleasure of traveling. I do.
But you're right with prices. Like, and they have gone up. I look at the prices in Playa and in Bali, or places that I've been back to the same way you do Medellin.
Even in
Bali,
Playa and Bali, they're going.
Yeah, and especially everywhere. It's like, I would say Playa is probably twice as expensive as the first time I went, and Bali maybe 2-3 times, I would even say. Some of the stuff, but yeah, so everywhere's going up.
Playa kind of flew under the radar for a long time. Feels like it was due for catching up a little bit.
Yeah, but even so, like, I guess our inflation is happening everywhere, so that is a thing. But like you said, I remember I came back from especially when I was in Southeast Asia last summer, where I was getting, like, this amazing, like, the best salad or pad thai or just, like, all of this amazing food at all these little markets for, $2 a meal, US dollars. And then I come home and that same salad is, has worse ingredients. It's not fresh. It's not good. It's smaller, and it's like $16. And I just remember it's hard when you get used to it. The more you're home, you're just like, okay, this is what it is. But it's really hard when you first get back, and then that's just one of the don't miss it either. When you get back, it's like, what am I doing? You can afford so much more everywhere else you go, and it's wild, the prices.
Why is a salad $16? I don't want to live in a world where salad's $16.
It's crazy. That's crazy. That's a good one. All right, so let's kick it back to you, Jeff, for something, because number 2 of something you do miss while you're gone.
Wrong place on the list, right thing on the list.
Charlie.
It's my dog. I miss my dog.
Yeah,
I miss Charlie. It's really, really hard, and we've got listeners that have pets.
Yeah, it's a big thing for a lot of people. We've heard from
listeners who have pets, and they ask about it. How do you manage it? I might as well just give a quick 60 seconds.
I feel like we haven't talked about it in a while.
There's a lot of options for people that have pets. Mine is family. I live with my 2 brothers and one of my brother's girlfriends, and so we've got a system where they just will take over. Charlie's like a family member to them, so they'll watch Charlie while I'm traveling. Makes it really easy. I don't have to do any boarding or anything like that. If you don't have that option, there's other stuff out there. I've got some friends that do. Have you heard of Trusted House Sitters?
I used to use it for my cat. Yeah.
Oh, you used it? Yeah. Okay. Well, you've got more experience with it than I do. Why don't you just give a quick spiel on that?
I would do it more for short term, and I'll talk about. So I had a cat, and he would be on my list if he was still living. Pop-Tart. He passed away. It was a year and a half ago now, so that has actually eased up my travels a lot, because he was the number one thing for sure that I missed while I was gone. It's so hard to leave the animals. But if I was more for short term, like before I started traveling, Trusted House Sitters is a website you can sign up. We can leave a link afterwards, because I think it's really great. But basically, it's free. So you pay like a small membership to join it, but then people normally like pay $100+ a day for a pet sitter, and instead it's like, imagine like Jeff or I were traveling and we're like, we want to go stay in Romania, and someone in Romania is like, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks and I have a cat or a dog. So you stay in their place for free, but you're watching their pet, basically. So a lot of people actually use it. We haven't talked about this much. I really want to do an episode about it. It works around the world. So if you want to be a pet sitter, you can watch other people's pets around the world and basically stay rent free. And you get like, I just would be happy to have someone's pet. Like I miss pets while I'm gone. And then, or they stay in your home for free and watch your pet. So that's definitely a way. But I would actually, for me while I was gone, I had a condo, and so I would get basically just a renter for my condo and keep all my, my furniture and stuff, but long term, because I had to do long term rentals in my condo. And someone would basically pay rent, and Pop-Tart was part of the deal for that. So my brother or my sister-in-law is super allergic to cats, and my parents had a dog and didn't want the cat. It was hard. That was like always, like, I feel like you're really lucky with your brothers being able to watch Charlie. It's a good deal, but there's always a way. But even when it is your brothers, like, I know it's like it hurts your heart to leave your animals. It's hard.
I can't think about it. And back when I first started doing this, I was thinking about it all the time, and it just hurts. It's a really, really hard part of travel. For those of you that have pets, you can imagine how hard it would be to leave them for an extended period of time. But this life is so great. It's so needed for me. I kind of need both. So I just really just got to put it out of my mind when I'm traveling. Yeah. That's the hardest part, just dealing with it mentally at this point. Yeah. And it's just can't dwell on it too much, and just try to get as many updates as you can. Yeah. I get picture updates and
they're happy.
All kinds of stuff like that.
She's happy with your brothers, but it's hard. It would like literally rip my heart out every time I like that moment when you're leaving. So it was so we feel you people with pets, but it's still worth it and wonderful. But that's a good number 2. Was maybe number 1.
What's your number 2?
Okay, my number 2 is like big bottles of like all toilet, like shampoo, conditioner, face wash. Like I feel like it's less important for men. I think we talked a little bit about this last time, but like the big size. I feel like for guys, like you'll just put like any product in your hair.
I've got like an 8-in-1. I've got like a hair, body, toothpaste, shaving cream bottle in my shower. It's great. Such a man. Soap is soap, Marissa.
Oh man, but I'm like really into. I think I would just say like just trying to get things like without chemicals, without like I just think everything has like fake and colors and dye. Like just I try to get like good quality things. Is more of my thing now, and you can get that when you're there, but I hate having to like bring little bottles.
You gotta dig around.
And when you get there, like I've been in. I remember like Oman or like Mauritius, where you're looking and the labels are in like French or Arabic, and you're like trying to use Google Translate. You're like, what is in this product? Do I want? Like it takes like you have your go-to at home where you can order it, and when you're there, it just takes like time for me to go to a find the right grocery store that has all the things and navigate your way and translate, and it's doable. But anyway, like your
carry-on has to be below 100 grams for each container.
And I have a lot of friends, especially a lot of female friends, who will not bring like they do bigger bags or just don't care about carry-on because they want to pack all their products. And I don't even use that many products. Like I really try. I don't like have tons of makeup. Like I don't use that much stuff, but I still miss those like just having the big bottles. Like when I get home, I'm like giant sweatshirt and like giant pump bottle of shampoo that I like. It just makes me it's like the little things. You really start to appreciate the little things in life that I totally took for granted before. So that's my number 2.
That's a good one.
That's my number 2. Yeah. What about you?
This one, I wouldn't say it's North America specific. I'd say it's U.S. specific. Yeah. Is our tipping etiquette I can't keep up with. I don't understand it. It's changing every single time. There's changed. Things. Well, now, you've got like the iPad readers, and there's new places every time where it's like, I don't know what the etiquette is, where to tip.
You mean it's like you're ordering at a counter and they're still asking you for a tip, whereas before it's like only if you have like waiter service or you're like, wait a minute, and then you feel really guilty, but it's like in your face, like should I tip?
But then you're like, but wait a minute, this never used to be tipping etiquette, and now is it or is it not? Because it's so much more clear when you're traveling somewhere else. Like it's usually put into like South America, almost everywhere. I think it's already baked into the receipt.
Right.
Like they just throw the 10% or 12% in there. Traveling through Western Europe, it's like you put down some pocket change if you like your service, because they've already got very livable wages, so it's not even a discussion point. It's not even a concern. I don't know what the etiquette is anymore.
That's really funny. I would almost say I totally know what you mean now with those little iPad things, just when you're ordering at the counter. But I think it's a hard thing of traveling when I get to a new place and I haven't researched it yet. And I'm like, it's like some countries don't tip at all. Some people tip 10%. And like US, it's just like 20%. And so I get really confused. And I'm like, am I leaving too much? Am I being really rude? Like, what's the etiquette? I feel like I actually, if I haven't researched it, or I like typically I'll try to ask someone local and be like, what's the deal? What am I supposed to do? But it's always those first couple times you eat, you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot. I haven't researched this yet. The moment comes, you're like, what do I do? And why I just ask them? I'm like, what's normal? It's such a hard thing, but that's funny. I could see that with the U.S. too. And also, I thought you were going to say that we just tip too much in the U.S. and that it should, like you were going to say, you wish it was more just baked in like it is in other countries of just like, just make the prices.
I think it should be baked in.
Yeah.
I think it should be baked in and leave it. It's way too open for whatever.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
because well, I remember when I was a kid, it used to be 15%. Now standard's 20. But you see on the iPad readers, it starts at 20%.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is it 20 or 25 now? I don't know.
It's all mind
Just
games.
put it in the receipt.
I know. Don't make me choose. Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. And then if you hit the wrong button, there's the shame involved. It's such a weird shame culture around tipping, and it's not like that wherever you travel. It's an added level of stress that's like, what am I doing? Am I doing somebody wrong?
That's
I don't
really
know. It's just an annoying thing that we've got that I don't feel anywhere else.
Fair.
So it's not something I like coming home to.
All right, that's a
What's
good
yours?
one. Okay, number 2 for me. I think this is U.S. centric in my mind, but it's definitely not only the U.S. It applies to many countries, but not all. So number 2 for me of things I don't miss when I travel is really unhealthy food additives. So I have been.
Ooh, good call.
Oh, thank you. I love the validation from you today, Jeff.
So
we never agree on anything. This is amazing. This episode is like, we're really hitting home. Okay, so this is, especially being home, I feel like I've been home forever. Like you said, I guess the past 6 weeks, 2 months, however long it's been. It has not been that long. But like I think everything on Instagram is also just targeting me of like, I've just been really into like a bunch of podcasts about food health and just like all the stuff that's in our food and being more mindful of it. But when I was in Sri Lanka earlier this year, there was a time, and I was with Rachel and Danielle, and they said the same. I was like, my body just feels like amazing. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I realized I was like, I wasn't even trying hard, but the food I was eating was just like, I just feel like grown nearby and didn't have like all the preservatives and stuff in it. And I felt like I was eating the same things that I would eat from home, but I just like felt better, like noticeably better, had more energy, my body, like it just felt good. And when I come home, it's like, I feel like the more I read, people will say, I remember someone comparing a box of like the same brand cereal in the US and Australia. I think this was just one example. And they were like, why do I feel so much worse when I'm eating the same thing? And they looked at the box of the ingredients of the same brand, same packaging, same company, everything. And in the US, it had all these like other added ingredients that just like, I feel like we just approve all these things that are banned in other countries. And it's making, I believe, this is again another soapbox, I feel so strongly about this, but I feel like it's like making us sick. And even when you think you're eating something good or healthy, it's like all of these pesticides and preservatives and things that are in it, and it makes it really hard even when you're trying to be healthy. And I don't, I know it's like that in some other countries as well, for sure, but there's so many people talk about like so many people are gluten intolerant, in the US, and they go to Italy and you can eat all the pasta because it's like real food. And I just feel like our food is not real here anymore.
Our friend Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, like he can eat. Well, it's
might be a stretch for him.
It might be a little bit of a stretch, but he was able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He wasn't able to eat pasta he's got a gluten insensitivity.
Yeah.
Sensitivity, and he couldn't eat it in the States, but he could eat it in Italy.
Yeah. It's real.
I really do think that the ingredients are closer to the earth than they are in the United States.
Yeah, we just mass produce preservatives to package and keep it longer. It's like, I get why this happened, but it's so bad for us, and I feel it when I'm home, and it's really hard. So anyway, I love being in other countries because I feel like I just get to eat like more locally sourced food, fewer preservatives, fewer just like bad, weird ingredients built in just for the sake of it. So anyway, that's my number 2. The U.S. isn't all it's cracked up to be. I feel like everyone in the U.S. always has this idea like the U.S. is the best country. This is a very U.S.-centric thought. But when you travel and you leave, it's like, no, there's so many not great things. So anyway, there's wonderful parts about the country too, for sure, but it's hard.
And I only hear that perspective that U.S. is the great from people that don't leave the U.S.
Yes.
Like I never hear that from my fellow travelers.
I'm like embarrassed to say I'm from the U.S. often. I hate when people ask me that question. I'm like, just don't ask me. I'm going to pretend I'm from somewhere else.
So yeah, I say I'm from California. It changes the perspective.
I can't say I'm from Georgia. That's where I don't.
No, you can't.
No, I forget that I'm
Canadian.
from Georgia. Yeah, I should. I like to just not talk. I look very like ethnically ambiguous, and so people just don't assume I'm from like Spain or Morocco or like somewhere else, and Mexico. Who knows? So until I start talking, and then it's
number 3 for things that I do miss.
Yes.
We've talked about this before. Popular sport that's blown up in the United States is pickleball.
I love
total
it.
blast. It's so much fun and it's so addicting. It's such good exercise. It's a great mental, physical release.
Yeah.
Because it's a very strategic game, but it's also very very exerting. Like you're actually getting a pretty good workout while you're doing it. So you get a lot of everything, especially if you're very much working with your brain and not your body. Like we're sitting at desks all day long. This is an awesome outlet for folks like us, and it's super popular in the States. It's growing at an insane exponential rate. Nowhere else. When we were like all through Europe, nothing. They play padel, which is super popular, and also in Mexico, I think they're playing a lot of padel as well.
What is that?
Have you seen that before? It's that indoor game where they play with a tennis ball and it's got like a glass cage around.
It kind of sounds like pickleball. I mean, like racquetball, but with a tennis ball.
It's like it's kind of like a cross between racquetball and tennis.
Interesting.
Because it
sounds fun.
It does play
like
with a tennis ball. Really, really popular in Mexico and in Southeast Asia now.
Have you played it?
Yeah, I played it when I was in Spain because it's exploding there, and I played it in South Africa even. They've got a whole bunch of different places you can play there, and it's not the same. I don't like it as much, but it kind of like fills that need if you like playing a paddle or a racket sport.
Pickleball is growing.
Yeah, it's cool.
I feel like I saw some of our friends posting in Cape Town in South Africa, and I played once in Costa Rica. I think soon it will be.
They had it in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like a new thing there. So I think it will just, maybe soon.
In the compound?
Exactly, in the compound. We will have pickleball at our you're invited to my compound, Jeff. You paid the cut, and we will have pickleball. I'll put you in charge of it. But I think you'll start. I just totally understand that that's one thing you miss. And I remember I miss a lot of different sports, but I remember in Bolivia we went to it was some German health club that Diego knew. Me and you and Diego played racquetball one day. Do you remember that? Or a couple days?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to find anyone else who plays, and weirdly the three of us happened to all play. It was so fun. That was one of my favorite memories.
It's odd to find anybody. It was racquetball was super popular in the States in the 80s, and it just kind of went out of vogue. It just went out of style.
The three of us somehow kept up with it. It's one of my favorite sports, and so few people play it, but
it's great.
You told me I needed to be on the pickleball train. I actually ordered paddles. I have a ball, and I messed up.
I was going to ask you about that.
I messed up my calves, running on the beach with a stray dog in Sri Lanka. It's anytime I try to sprint, they just seize up. I know, right? I would love to play. My brother plays a ton of pickleball. I plan to play soon,
cool.
and I feel like I will be obsessed with it too. But that's a good one. Some sports. I think a lot of people miss their workout of choice if you can't find it exactly, and it can be tough.
You know what's also unique about it is that it's a pickup sport.
Yeah,
and it's
you don't need
for people, so it's very, very community oriented.
Yeah,
it's not like
good way
tennis.
to have friends, meet people.
Yeah, we all know each other, and we're all I'll grab drinks with folks after games. We'll talk about the games and stuff. So it really is kind of a community type of thing. So it's a real healthy outlet for people to check out. If you can find it near you, it's growing all over the place.
I think it's the fastest
find
growing
it in Costa Rica.
sport.
It's going to be
okay. Number 3 for mine. And real quick before I jump into it, if you're listening to this podcast, if you've been listening for a while, or maybe it's your first episode and you're loving it, if you could leave us the 5 stars or the review, the words, whatever your option, wherever you're listening on Apple or Spotify or whatever program. we'd be so grateful if you can just give it that little stars now, and it really helps people find this and it helps our podcast grow. So thank you for that. And number 3 for me of things that I do really miss while I'm traveling is I feel like this is wrong, but I'm just being honest here. Ordering things on Amazon, and especially
good one.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm gonna kind of like, I would say mostly I'm kind of, I guess, like on the health kick if you're hearing this one now, but like different and I remember Diego mentioned this on the last episode too, of just sort of like ordering, whether it's just like protein powders or big packets of like different, I don't know, it's like magnesium or whatever it is. Like there's lots of like little health things. Like I order Element. I don't know if you ever had it. It's like Element Tea. These little packets of like has magnesium, sodium, and potassium that are really good to add. Like, I don't know, I follow all these things. I think that they help. I feel better. I feel like I'm missing a lot of like nutrients probably when I'm in the US. Maybe I don't need them as much when I'm gone because I actually get real nutrients from food. But it's the irony of it. Maybe that's why I shouldn't need it when I'm gone. But yeah, ordering those things on Amazon that I can just get like all the health supplements and packets and powders and things that I like to add to my food while I'm here. So yeah, it's hard to find those. And there actually are, I know in Mexico there's like a Mexican version of Amazon, and in Thailand they have their own version, so it's not quite the same, but I just love at my fingertips I can like order anything I need on Amazon, which is a very, maybe not the best thing, but I'm honest here, I love it.
I had that as my bonus number 6,
Okay.
actually, supplements.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to, you have to really dig to find the stuff that you are used to getting.
Yeah.
Like I like taking my magnesium and B6
Yeah.
combo thing, and it's like you can't find the very specific
Right.
stuff that you need unless you pack a bunch of it, and then
It
again
takes up
you're
half your
running up
suitcase.
against you're running up against suitcase space,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Well, we're agreeing on a lot of stuff.
Wow, Jeff, I think this is episode we've ever agreed, like the most we've ever agreed on anything.
I know.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
What I don't miss is American medical stuff.
That is a great
Like,
one. I wish I'd done it. Wow, Jeff
people-
Weir, you're killing it. Yes.
People, this is a big fear that we've talked about with a lot of people, with a lot of our podcasts, because people have written in about it. Like, what happens if I get hurt or sick or injured while you're traveling?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question for me, and I'm like becoming an expert in this, 'cause I'm just like a lightning rod. I'm knocking on wood right now. To get something happen while I travel. It's been nothing but a breeze for me, and it's been cheap, and I've had really, really good health care, and I've gotten health care in Romania, South Africa, Colombia, Mexico, probably more places, and I gotta tell you, I've hardly spent anything. I've had quick service. It's been easy to get appointments. I've had really, really good care, and when I come home, I stress about it. Just last week I got this nasty cold that's going around.
You were really sick last week, yeah.
Nasty. And I couldn't stop coughing at night. Like, I was getting better, but I couldn't stop coughing. It would keep me up all night long. All night. It just wouldn't stop. Took NyQuil, nothing. And then I remember I had this moment. I was like, okay, well, I need to get some care. And I thought, okay, I'm going to call my primary care doctor. 2-week wait to get anything done. And it's like, whoa.
Like, I'm going to be better by then. That doesn't help.
Yeah, it would have been better by then. And and I was talking to my brother Sean. He's got a stomach thing he's dealing with, and he waited 2 months for a 15-minute phone call. And they told him,
And it probably cost
just try
like
the same thing that you're doing
$500.
and check in another 2 months.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, God. So no, I had to resort to paying for like an online telehealth thing, which was like $79, and it's like, eat that, whatever, just so I can get the care that I needed. I'll just come out of pocket for it to get the care I need, and it would have just been a total breeze anywhere else that I've had healthcare abroad.
That is such
a
great one. I'm so glad you
I get really frustrated with that when I come home.
It is, yeah. I'm really glad you chose this one because it didn't. I'm glad Jeff and I, we brainstormed the topic for today. We like wrote them all out separately. Again, didn't know what the other would say, which I'm so glad because this one wasn't on my list. But as you say it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it wasn't on mine. But I feel the same. Like, it takes so long. It's so segmented. You don't get great care. I remember every time I feel like I go to the dentist and like have dental insurance, like I keep getting these charges for things, and I'm like, this shouldn't cost anything. Like you told me it wouldn't, and or if they do this procedure, they're like, it will cost this much, and then you get a bill for like $300 more, and I was like, you told me it would only cost this. It's like a guess. You're like, what is this going to cost? You don't even know.
Always with the dentist, too.
It's so weird.
It's always the dentist.
And then on top of it, I'll give one quick story of just, so I was in Nepal, I guess it was a month and a half ago, right before I came home, and our friend Rachel got really, really bad food poisoning. It was like from uncooked chicken. She was really sick. Like I've never seen anyone in so much pain. Like it was really bad. And I was like, Rachel, I think you need to go to like the emergency room immediately. Like she was really sick. But we were staying in a hotel and we went and I like talked to the guy in the lobby. They had a doctor. So she didn't have travel insurance at the time. So there was a hospital that was right behind our building, but he was like, they were so amazing. They were like, don't go. It's going to cost you, potentially more just because you don't have the insurance. But I'm going to call, he was like a friend or someone he knew. He was like, I'm going to call a doctor. He'll come here. And I think it was $90 total for an amazing doctor and an assistant to come to our hotel. And this included a ton of different medicine that she needed, like for the next day. So like all the pills, all the medicine, all the care, like injections to immediately help her. And it was only $90 for, that would have cost like $1,500 if she'd gone to a hospital in the US, and it wouldn't have been good. And she was like, I don't think I could have gotten to the hospital. Like she was feeling so ill. She was like, I don't think I could have moved. So all the point is like you get better care for like affordable pricing, and you know what you're going to pay, and it's good. Yeah. So I have the US, I think for healthcare, like if there are, specific rare treatments or things that you maybe like long-term treatment or something that you have to go for potentially, but overall, just like when you need immediate care, I think I like other countries have more holistic care and thoughts of everything. Like I think here we're just like, take this pill and I don't even know what you have and it'll help you. So that's a whole other story for another day. But yeah, that's a great one, Jeff.
Prize one for the list. What's
yours? Okay. I feel like this like goes hand in hand with like medicine. My number 3 is just sort of like the politics and the mindset of people back home. I guess I want to wrap it up all into one sort of thing. You talked a little bit about just, like you said, people who mostly haven't traveled have a very US centric view that like everything is the best here and it's a free world and free country and blah blah blah, and just the politics and everything, like just people's opinions on things. I don't know. I'm not personally a fan. I don't even want to talk about it because I really hate getting into the weeds of it. So I won't dig into it. But just like especially with elections are going to come up again, it feels like poison hearing people talk about politics and like go through that, and I feel like nothing good comes of it.
It's really tough here.
Yeah.
And it's such the focal point of like all discussions.
Yeah.
When you come home, it like you look in the news, you're bombarded with only that.
Yeah.
And when you're traveling, it's not that. Like they're not quite as well, it depends on where you go. Some places
do.
A bit more politically. Sure, but like we are pretty on the far end of the pretty extreme when it comes to. It's been a rough and it's also been we're on the extreme end of how often do we talk about politics versus a lot of the places I've been to where it seems to be the focal point of like damn near every discussion. At least in the news, it's like 90% of everything. It just gets very tiring. Yeah,
and to be fair, I think it actually exists a lot more in other countries, and maybe not like talking about as much and in your face, and like, but I guess what I have learned recently and meeting a lot of local people in the countries I'm traveling to is how corrupt almost every country is. Like I guess I had a U.S. centric view that like our politics were so corrupt and like everywhere else was so much better, but I think
God, no.
The more I learn, it's like I'd say just one of the biggest lessons I've learned from traveling is like every country is very corrupt in their own ways. And so that's not, I guess it's just probably not as in my face. I'm like, I'm not there. I'm not voting in other countries. It's not top of mind for me, but it's something I really don't miss U.S. politics when I travel, I'll just say. But I do try, like, also learning just during all the Black Lives Matter movement and things, like how important it is like to still vote and to be mindful and educated. Like I still try to do that and make an impact where and when I need to. But I try, like, I just don't like the atmosphere of it in the U.S. It's really unenjoyable. So I don't miss that. All right. So on to what is your number 4, Jeff, for things that you do miss from back home while you're traveling?
I occasionally miss my routine. Like my routine with regards to stuff that I'm super familiar with. Sometimes when traveling around, I miss like my grocery store and certain things in my grocery store, and not necessarily that, just knowing where stuff is when I need it.
That's a good one.
Is such an underrated thing. Like, I know that this thing is at this place, and then when you're traveling around, you're like, I have no idea where to find this, if I can find it.
Yeah.
And you use so much brain
energy.
power.
Yeah.
Trying to track shit down that you're used to having at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And it just, it can be, like, we've talked about this before, like, it can be, it's part of the settling into a new country type of thing, or a new city type of thing, is using your brain power to figure out where stuff is.
Yeah.
To go shopping, to find like at home, you know where your gym is, you know where your your favorite restaurants are, and you kind of miss that, especially if you've been gone a while. If you've been on the road for like 3, 4, 5 months or something, you're just like, I miss kind of that comfort of my little routine.
Yeah.
And I know you can probably relate to that one, because you've done a lot more fast travel than I have, and that is where you really, really feel it.
Oh, it's hard, yeah.
You just get discombobulated, and you're all over the place, right?
Yeah, because I feel like it's like the longer you stay somewhere, it's like a graph of like, it takes like this much energy to start, it's like a ton. It's like 90% of your energy the first day you get somewhere goes to that, and like every day you're there it gets a little bit less, where you're like, okay, now I learned where I can find this food. I learned where I can find my salad. I learned where I can find these vitamins or whatever. Or it takes like 3 days to find your gym, and you have to look at a bunch of places on Google Maps, and you have to visit a few, and you're like, go to this one, you don't like it, you want to try another one. So I feel like really the first 3 days, it takes like 80 to 90% of your mental capacity to figure out just your grocery store, your food, like
Agreed.
Money, like just all the basic needs, health. And then the longer you're there somewhere, like, you don't have to think about every day because you kind of learn your places, but it's still, you might like want something different for food. You're like, I have a craving for this, and I don't know where this thing is yet. So it like still takes time, but you get your basics, and then really like even if you've been somewhere for months, it's like when that random thing comes up, you're like, I just ran out of the deodorant I like where am I gonna find that, or whatever it is, or like some random thing. So it's still, no matter how long you are somewhere, unless you stay for 6 months, a year, 2 years. Long term, it just takes a lot of mental energy, and again, it's worth it to have the adventures and the travels, and you get so many pros of learning other cultures, and there's a reason we love travel. But sometimes when you just want to focus on business or work, other things, it can be really hard, and it takes a lot of that energy.
Yeah,
that's a great one. Okay. My number 4, which I'm guessing this is going to be your number 5. These are lower on the list than they should be for all of us. I'm sorry, friends and family. But yeah. I would say, so for friends and family, I always put this one lower down because I can still text and FaceTime and call and voice note and catch up. Like, I used to tell my parents, like when I thought about my cat, I was like, I can't like FaceTime my cat. Like you could, but they don't know how to talk to you when you're gone, but you can still communicate with all friends and family. So that's my excuse for why they're lower on the list, because I still communicate and talk with people. But I almost want to put this in line with like events with family and friends. So if there's things that I miss out, whether it's like birthdays or I try to come home for a lot of the weddings and things like that, but maybe like if a holiday, I've been gone some Thanksgivings, and like there's those moments where everyone gathers, and it's like, it's not just about talking to someone. It's like you miss the whole feeling of it. You miss, when my grandmother passed away, for example, I was considering whether or not to come home for a funeral because I was across the world, and my parents were like, you don't have to, don't worry about it. Like, we understand, you're so far away. She would understand, but I just had this moment where I like hung up the phone with them, and my mom is one of, we have like 26 people in our family, and I love my mom's whole family. And I just had this moment where I was like, I don't want to miss that moment with everybody. Like, it felt important to be there. And so I flew home for it. But I would say it's like, yeah, those really events around, family and friend gatherings would be the thing that I miss the most.
Yeah, that's a good one. I figured that was going to be
somewhere
both on our
list. We're bad people, if not.
It would be lower because like we are family oriented people anyways. And it's not like we go that a long period of time without talking to family ever.
Yeah.
It's just less dinners and events and stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm with you on that one 100%.
Perfect. Okay, what's your number 4 for things you don't miss?
It was your number 3. It's US based politics.
Love it. We just had flip-flops.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And if I ever feel like I'm missing home, I'll hop on my the news section in your iPhone.
No.
I'll hop on that.
Yes.
And I'll see what the latest headlines are, and I'll be like, nope, not time to go home yet.
Delete.
Like, nope, delete.
That's
no,
funny.
Thank you.
Well, my 4 actually goes exactly hand in hand with that because my 4 was news, just like the news in general.
Oh, just the news.
When home. Yeah. So it goes, I try, when I travel, when I'm not, I try to avoid the news at all costs. I hate the way even when it's something positive, they're like, the world met 100 puppies today. And it's like, just in like a terrible voice. Like, you're like, wait, is this good or bad? I don't even know. It's just so fear mongering in my opinion. But it's hard. I know a lot of people will like think there's such an ignorance to not like watching the news or staying up to date on things. But I always find like, I have Instagram. I follow a channel called like Good News Movement. Like the really important things will come my way from the people who are watching and want to share with me, or some headline or some meme or joke. Like I get the news I need to see, but I just hate the form that it's delivered. It feels so negative and fearful on like the typical news channels and headlines that I hate that, and I try to avoid it. Yeah.
Don't want to dive into it too much, but the way it is packaged up is it's not for the purpose of news. It's for the purpose of generating revenue.
Yes.
It's from everything from the headlines to the spin to it's just no longer news anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just not, and we all have those friends or family members that are news junkies.
Yes.
And they're unhealthy people. They're not mentally healthy people because of it. So it's like, in very, very slight moderation. It's good that you're following that good
news movement. It's one of my favorite Instagram accounts for someone. If you want that. Yeah. It's just like, because we don't share good news because it's not revenue generating. It's not fearful.
No. I don't find myself ignorant for not following any of our news.
We agree on something else.
It's not a good place. Yeah,
yes, I like to be educated and aware, but I don't like the way that we share the news in this country, and I'm sure that's similar in other countries, but I try to. Yeah, it's just something, it's harder to avoid when you're home. Like, you see it in, like, magazine headlines, and it's in your face more, Okay, so number 5, this is the last one, of something you really miss. I guess I know what yours will be when you are traveling.
Yep, mine's the friends and family one, too.
Love it.
It's, I've got, it's a pretty small town here, so, like, a lot of the people that I went to school with actually moved away or like had kids and started their whole kind of isolating off from the world type of routine thing. So I don't, mostly family for me here. Most of the people that my friends are traveling, they're all abroad, and I'll meet them here and there. And then my girlfriend lives in Colombia, so she'll come here, so that's kind of a different category, but family. And I live with my 2 brothers, which is great, so I miss hanging out with them, doing it's the event stuff, it's the casual dinners and stuff like that. I definitely miss that, but we make up for it. We do FaceTime, and I catch up and chat and all that kind of stuff, so it's okay. It's okay if people are worried about I'm gonna miss everybody so bad. There's ways to keep in touch, and FaceTime's an amazing thing. I mean, how often you use FaceTime often, right?
I do. It's funny. I see my family a lot when I'm home. I'm bad at FaceTiming, so like I feel like I get busy, and my parents are always like, "Will you just like send us an emoji to like let us know you're alive?" Because when I'm here, I see them all the time, but when I travel, it's been it's like 2 weeks. They're like, Marissa, we haven't talked to you. Like, will you call us? I did that when I went away to call. I guess I should say also, as a nomad, I see my family way more now that I've started traveling than I did when I lived in a different state. So my family's in Georgia and Atlanta, and I lived in New York and California, and I went to school in Michigan, and so I would only see them a handful of times anyway. But now that I travel and have freedom, like when I come home, it's like a month or two I've just been home, and I see them way more than I ever would before I started traveling. So yeah, I'm not always the best at FaceTiming, but I text with my parents. Like each day I feel like I'm texting just, a random something, or like sending Instagram. We communicate, but I would say once every week and a half or 2 weeks, I'll probably have a good FaceTime catch up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
Love it. Okay.
So you got your number 5, right?
Number 5, last one that I do miss. This is a new one for me. This is my equivalent of your pickleball. Our Zouk events. So Zouk it's this Brazilian dance that I've been doing. It's like my newest hobby that I love. And Atlanta actually is one of the best places in the U.S. It's like, maybe top 3 or 4 places in the U.S. that has this dance scene, because it's a really small, like it's not a well-known dance. Like if you dance, it's kind of like a different version of salsa, like a more hip-hoppy version, but it's a partner dance. But I feel like when you travel in the world or any country, city, state you're in, like you can always find a salsa night. But not many people do this dance that I'm like so obsessed with and learning. So when I travel, there's cool events all over the world, but it's more of like go to this country at this time for this event. It's not like always happening there. So
it's not really mainstream yet.
It's not mainstream yet. Yeah. So you have to be in places that like have a Zouk scene. And it's not everywhere. So I'm really loving that while I'm home. And I feel like if I so I started doing it, and then I went to like Sri Lanka and Nepal, and there was no Zouk there, so that's something that I now miss. That's your equivalent of pickleball, that it's just, it's not mainstream enough yet. I hope it will be one day, but it's something that I miss now when I travel, which is new for me, because I only started like 7 months ago, and I'm obsessed, so that's fine.
Hobbies are tough when you miss them.
Yeah.
Hobbies are so healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it depends, like, there's some that are easy, like, boxing is one that I love, and, like, I found, like, my favorite boxing gym in Mexico, and I box when I go to like, you can find a boxing gym almost anywhere. Like, the mainstream sort of things you can do, but sometimes people have, like, a specific workout class you like, or a specific, or maybe you have, like, a pickleball partner that you can't play with. There's, like, weird little things, but you can find some sort of healthy activity. And actually, one of my favorite things, like, I actually discovered Zouk when I was in Bali, so it helps you, like, I think when you travel, you try new things that you wouldn't do in your home, but it's just like when you find the things you love and you can't always do it everywhere, that's hard. All right, so last one, drum roll. What don't you miss when you travel? Number 5.
Something that I don't miss is our bad food delivery systems that we've got here.
Yeah.
It seems like when we're traveling, whether it be a Rappi, which is really the dominant one in South and Central America, which you can get everything delivered by the way. Like you can get somebody to go to the ATM for you and pull out money. You just put in a vague instruction like go find me a yoga mat and to go and get you anything.
Yeah.
Here in this, not so much here. And it's like it's unaffordable to get anything delivered.
Yeah, food delivery is like, that's what we talk about the prices. Like, it's like something that would cost you $10 to get at a restaurant. Somehow it's like $37 with all the fees.
Yeah.
And like, how did this happen? Yeah, it's not very affordable.
Yeah. We don't have a great delivery system figured out yet. Until we get like, I don't know, little drones airdropping stuff to us. Maybe that's the next thing. Maybe that's our next big play. Drone Rappi.
For a while. Yeah.
Drone Rappi, D-Rappi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's a silly one, but it's just a nice accessibility thing. It's like, I'd love to have this in my life right now. It's going to cost me a $25 delivery fee.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's really, it's like the fees on top of it. Like the system is good. There's lots you can order, or you can't order. It's great to order food, not as much random things. Like you can order in a lot of other countries. Like they'll pick you up things from stores, not just restaurants. And like Asia has an amazing, like they have one called Gojek. There's like a couple in Bali, and there's a bunch of everywhere you go. Again, this is one of those things that mentally takes a minute to figure out. Like every country you go to usually has something. But even in Guatemala, like a lot of places have Uber Eats now. And the fees in other countries are not as insane as they seem to be in the U.S. But there's all sorts of implications. I feel like if you're listening to this, of just different payment factors and wages. I mean, there's a lot of complicated things that I try to be mindful of. But yeah, these are just sort of the facts of things that we miss. But that's and I know you love Rappi. People are obsessed with Rappi in South America because you can get anything anytime, day or night. That's a good one. Well, my number 5 was prices, and we've talked about that one as well, things I don't miss. So I'm going to do a quick little bonus one instead, which is having to drive a car. This obviously, a lot of places that we visit as nomads intentionally are places that you don't really have to have a car to get around. And I think just places in the world do this better than we do in the States. Like most places, aside from a couple of cities, you really have, even in Atlanta is a big city, like you have to have a car to get around because our public transportation is just like it's basically non-existent. It's not helpful. And most, everywhere else I go, occasionally you'll need to rent a car in some places. Like in Oman, we rented a car. In Mauritius, we rented a car like for the month. But we try to go, almost everywhere else I visited, you can get around by walking or public transportation, or it's just better design. So I actually like driving a car and being able to like drive and pick up groceries or things, but I like that I don't have to do that in other countries for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. Public transportation here is just brutal. That's a good one. It's great. This
is between the two of us, we nailed it, Jeff. I know. This will never happen again. It was a pleasure.
No.
It was a pleasure agreeing with you.
Let's get back to our routine. I don't know how comfortable.
I know, this got weird. Next one, we'll continue to disagree about everything. But for this one, yeah, it was fun to hear yours because there were things I hadn't thought of that I definitely did agree with. Yeah. And it's fun to hear the order. You miss it.
Yeah,
the bulky sweatshirt. So, yeah, I guess that's a wrap on this one. If you want to join our email list so you never miss out on a podcast episode or other remote jobs that we send out, different things we got going on, we always have fun stuff. Go to beachcommute.com/email to join and get those remote jobs sent to you.